Hey guys, Jason from Medine. I just wanted to do a quick video on our stage rack, our in-ears rack slash stage rig. We've had a few inquiries about it, so I figured I would do a quick video and maybe help some of the bands that are out there looking for an affordable rig for your live gigging needs. Again, your needs are obviously based on your budget and your ability, as was ours. We are not endorsed by any of these companies. We wish we were, but we're not. If money was no object, we might have done some things differently, but I don't think for the money you could build a better stage setup. Two things. One, I'm not an audio engineer, I'm a drummer. I do play an audio engineer on YouTube. Actually, I don't. But I did say at Holiday Inn Express. That's also a lie. But I do love doing sound and I do enjoy engineering. And so, from a standpoint of how this particular setup works, I built this rig. It's very similar to other rigs that are out there. We're not special, but this is what we're using. This is the equipment we're using, and I will tell you how to set it up. It's actually very easy. One thing to note about this particular system, you can use this whether you're using in-ears or not. The great benefit is definitely using in-ears. That is the benefit of having this, is you can use in-ear monitoring. It also gives you the ability to do your own wireless monitoring without having to deal with long lays front of house for returns. A lot of them have digital snakes now, which with some analog equipment can make it a very challenging environment to try to do. So for our standpoint, from a local band slash regional band, this definitely is a great way for us to bridge that divider. One major change that we have versus another band who just shows up, sets up and plays, the front of house engineer will come and do all the microphoning and all that stuff and lining in and all that stuff. And then he gets his sound right, does the wedges, blah, 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 and then bing off, you're off and running for a sound check and your show. We don't have that. We have our own stage snake, which sits in front of my drum kit. So from a drummer standpoint, instead of setting up just my drums and then checking, I have to actually plug all my drum set microphones in, which is a little bit more of a task. And it does change your setup time. It adds about a minute or two of setup time to plug all your stuff in. Your guitar players all have to either line in or mic their own cabinets, however they want to do it, and then all your vocals. Everything on stage goes through that snake, which comes in right here into our Behringer splitters. So let's get into the equipment. So stage snake, that's a big change. It's a procedural change more than anything. And once you get used to working with it, it's actually a lot easier because the benefit you get of your in-ears being super clean and crisp is well worth the effort, okay? Not to mention your sound is super crisp and super clean. Here's why. The Behringer MS8000s are huge. It's an active split, or it's a passive split, but it's an active channel, so you don't lose any signal coming out of these inputs. So we have eight inputs per, there's 16 total. So your line comes in, and then each one of these channels splits into two physical separate outputs. One of those outputs comes into our XR18, and one of those outputs goes into a fan snake located in the rear of the cabinet. And then when we set up on stage, we walk over to the front of house guy or girl and hand them our fan snake and say, here's your inputs. And we give them our stage plot, and then they know exactly what input is what. They go back to their mixing console, plug everything in, and they're done. And it's that simple. And then they're off to the races. They're done. That's it. You are also done. The only thing you have to do is adjust your stage sound to match the room. And that's true of any venue you play. They're all different. They all have a different sound profile. So from an engineering standpoint, your in-ears mix is not going to change very much. A little bit, maybe a little more guitar, a little this, a little that. You bring up your phone and just change it. It takes 2 seconds. I have a tablet that I play with, and if something is not right in my live sound in between a song, I can just bring it up and change what I need to right there on the fly. I don't have to wave the sound guy down and, hey, buddy, give me more of this. How many times do you guys do this? You don't have any of that because you can change it on your phone. Click there. No offense to the front of house people because they do a great job, but this takes that issue away and lets them focus on front of house. And that's a great benefit. That will make you sound better. So understand that, because that's one less thing that they have to worry about, which is a huge thing, by the way. If a guitar player can't hear what's going on, that's kind of a problem. So if that issue is taken away from them and they can focus on your front of house sound, they can EQ your channels, they can do all that fun stuff that they should do, which they normally don't have time to do. So take it from me. This is worth doing, okay? So Our sound comes in here, it comes out, gets split into the front of house snake, and comes into the XR18, and then our outputs come here, and then they go into our wireless rack. If you have a wireless rack, this is where they go. I have 4 for my front guys, and then I have a stereo out for my drums. For you drummers out there, a stereo monitor mix is something that you didn't know that you were missing. And I will tell you right now, you are missing it. And you need a stereo monitor mix. Here's the beauty of it. I can throw a click in my left ear. I can throw a backing track in my right ear, or whatever other stage sounds we have going on. I can mix my guitar left to left ear, guitar right to right ear. However I want to mix myself, I can mix it. And it's stereo quadraphonic. So I've got left and right, and I've got things panned front and back. So that gives you a great ability to really tailor your sound from a drummer's perspective. You can have all click in your ear. You can have your backing track here, guitars and bass in one ear, vocals in the other, so you get the vocal cue with the click. You can do lots of cool things. So from a versatility standpoint, this rack is huge. Now you're saying to yourself, well, gee, Jay, I don't have a wireless rack. We don't have that kind of money, which we don't really either. They're not that expensive. You can. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to budget for it. But if you don't have this, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to have this. You can plug your wedges right into here. Boom, boom, boom. And you're still changing your own mix, and you're not interfering with front of house at all. Because remember, their sound is physically separate by the front of house snake. So everything you're doing here with your mixer and your tablet or your phone or however you're doing it doesn't change anything front of house. And that is absolutely key. So we do have in our rest of our rack, to finish the walkthrough, we do have a headphone amplifier and a wireless router. Now the wireless router gives us the ability to connect multiple devices to our XR18 without causing any latency. So when you're looking at your sound meters, they're pegging in real time, and it really is fantastic. So that's what the wireless router is for. You don't have to have that. The XR18 has its own wireless unit in there, and it does work great. We just found when we're running 4 or 5 phones and a tablet and then a laptop, all through one thing, it tends to bog it down. So in order to give us a better sound, a latency profile, I should say, that's what we chose to do. The headphone amp, we don't even need to have that. It's just a backup for in case the wireless rig fails, and we decide we still want to have in-ears. We can plug hard cables in, and off we go. Again, something we don't have to do, but we can. It's just another option. If we're playing a huge stadium, and you don't want to use wedges, but your in-ears go out, you can easily just plug in. You plug the output from here into the input, and then audio, you're on the road again, no problem. So from a feasibility standpoint, the biggest change is going to be plugging in your own snake on stage and being responsible for your own lines. Aside from that, the sound profile you're going to have in your in-ears is going to be almost perfect every time because you're the one mixing it. So if it's not right, it's on you. It's easy to change things. Oh, I need more guitar. Click. I need more bass. Click. Oh, I need less vocals. Click. It's really easy. I don't want the drummer at all. Slide him down. I don't have any reservations with saying that this will work for pretty much anybody. I mean, Lamb of God could plug into this and go play with it, and it would work just fine. We plug into it and play with it. It would work just fine. Joe's Mariachi Band could also do this and would also have great results. Again, there's a learning curve with the app on the phone. You have to learn how the app works and how the profiles work and how you can save all your settings. Because if you want to EQ all your channels, you can. And it'll save all that, and then every time you have your in-ears mix, it's perfect. So you can do all of that stuff. You can change your sound profile however you'd like. That's the beauty of it, is that it's your prerogative. You don't have to worry about a front of house guy who doesn't know that the guitar player loves this in his sound or needs more of this. It doesn't matter. You have that ability right in your palm of your hand. So again, one more thing. The power conditioner here is absolutely key if you have any rack-mounted gear, regardless of what kind of gear it is. I don't care if it's guitar gear or if it's a stage rig or whatever. Make sure you have a good power conditioner, okay? No offense to your venues, but who knows how they did their wiring, and you don't want to backfeed any power into something that is very delicate, such as equipment like this. So aside from that, it's a pretty simple setup, and it works really well. It's really easy for us to set up now that we've worked with it a few times, and it definitely has made our stage sound a lot cleaner. So any questions on this, please hit me in the comments. If you have any cool rigs or any additions to this, I'd love to hear it because, I'm into learning. So if you have any additions you'd like to add, please let me know. And hopefully we will see you out on the road. Any questions or comments, hit me up. Thanks, guys. Stay metal. We'll see you out there.